Okay, we good? All right, sorry about that, guys. I don't know what happened. I go to check Amazon to see the prices for the seasons, for the whole seasons that you can buy as a whole without worrying. So you have other options to watch the episodes via streaming. And I come back to the main area here, and my entire camera decides to lock up, or something happened. I don't know. It's like my camera froze. It's like I tried. It's like basically when I tried to redo this with this camera here, it would only register the HD True Vision on my computer. I'm thinking, what's going on here, you know? And my assumption is because I was hearing something there, like a little bit of loading, and then I think that's when it hit me. They were doing a load. They were uploading something or doing something. Because I even checked the virus situation as well, and apparently they did the virus update like at 136 today, so I don't know what was going on unless they were in the process of doing another virus scan or something. So I do apologize for that. Now, in case you're wondering, no, I'm not going to edit this together as one whole video. It'll be probably way too long. But if I decide to do that, I will. But I'm going to give it time to basically load up. In other words, let the stream do what it's got to do. But yeah, I don't know what happened there with a freak show kind of deal. So until then, I'm probably going to put it in a playlist. And then over time, like I said, I'm probably going to edit it together. Maybe tomorrow after work, I'm not really sure. Or maybe even Friday, I might edit it together early. Because I got to get up early. So what I'll probably do one of those days, maybe even Saturday, again, I'm not making any promises. I'll probably download the videos and then convert and then edit them together as one whole video, so you guys can check that out. But consider this a part two for right now, and also kind of, you know, if you want to watch both as all together, I will put them in a playlist. But again, I do apologize for that. But like I was trying to say in that second part, in that first part, before it locked up, basically Netflix has removed seasons 5 to 8, according to Gadget the Mouse, who was in the live chat at that time. I do apologize, Gadget the Mouse, for that happening. Um, Basically, when you go to someone like Amazon, just in case, let's say seasons 5 and 8 don't go back on the Netflix, or they don't show up on Hulu, which I'm guessing is probably the next destination they'll end up at. You can go to a place like, let's say, Amazon, and you can get the whole seasons for like between $13.99, $14.99. The cheapest is the third season, which is the shortest one, at $9.99, and then the rest for like $19.99, $17.99. Basically between, I would say, $10 to $20, depending on which season you want. And for someone like me, I look at the fact that maybe that's not a bad deal for someone like me. That way, I can have all the seasons, right there on Amazon, and I can watch them whenever I want with no issue whatsoever. But yeah, I do. But yeah, I do apologize for that issue though. When I was trying to look those up. But yeah, basically between 10 to 15, 10, 15, basically between 10 and $20 on Amazon through the Prime Video, you can buy the complete series, if you will. Now, how much that comes up to, basically, it comes up to a lot. I will say that. I could see something like, let's say 14, 15, that's like 29, and then 7 is 36. That's what. So you basically be doing like, well, not 7, but 8, if you will. That'd be about like 37. So you got $37 there, and then for season 4, I'm assuming that's about another 12 maybe. For season 4, so you're looking at probably 52. You're probably looking at like $52 there at least. And then like with season 5, I think that's when they go up a little bit more. You're looking at maybe about 66. And then it'll get into the hundreds basically. That's what I'm telling you. It'll probably get into the hundreds. And welcome Zach G to the live chat. Thank you for for joining me. And that's a nice theory about Superity, and maybe I'll talk about that later on. Actually, Zach G, if I can't get to it, check out Dr. Wolf, send it to him, and check out Sawtooth Wave, send it to him, and you'll probably get better theory videos out of that. But that's a good theory, though, that you have maybe on a descendant of Rarity and Spike if they got together or something like that. Maybe not a son, but I would say maybe a great grandson, depending on how far in the future G5 is. But yeah, like I was saying, getting back on track here, seasons 5 to 8. We're taking off Netflix again. This could be just a temporary deal because, as I was explaining to Gadget Mouse, because she told me in the UK where she's at, basically seasons 2 to 5. And hello, Alina03, thank you for joining me as well. But she said through seasons, she said that seasons 2 to 5 were taken off in the UK. And everything. And everything. So that was, so that was kind of a, that was kind of something interesting that she told me. I was just reading off some of the comments here. And just in case you guys know, as in the last live stream, super stickers, super chats, depending on what you can afford, are open and encouraged and would be appreciative in the long run, guys. Even though I started work at Target, still waiting for the big one to come in, the big check next week. But so if you can help me out before then, that'd be great too, depending on what you can supply. And also check me out at Venmo at Brian-Wilmer-2 for whatever you can afford to help me out there. So it's patreon.com with the $1, $3 tier. And if you're listening to the podcast, BWR's discussions on Anchor.fm, as well as other facilities, but other podcast affiliates, I should say, but mostly Anchor.fm, you can check me out. Listener support is activated there as well. But anyway, though, like I said, and you're welcome, Zach G, on the suggestion. But like I said, Gadget Mouse said that seasons 2 to 5 in the UK were taken down. And my assumption is there's a lot of confusion at Netflix when it comes to removing certain series at a certain time, like, from certain regions and stuff. Like, they'll say this series has to go, at least part of it has to go, and they might assume, oh, it's for all regions and not just one Pacific region and stuff. So whatever happens here with seasons 5 to 8, we'll see. Because like I said before, they had done this in the past to where basically, like I said, basically they, they've taken off the series for a bit, or at least parts of it, put episodes sporadically and then put them back. So if it does come back, hopefully it'll be before the end of the month or something. But we'll see what they do as well. We'll see what they do as well. But yeah, well, it's gonna be interesting. And we'll see what like I said, the next step. We'll see what the next step is, mainly for the characters and everything, and for the not characters, but for the seasons, that is, if you will, especially if they're going to another area. But like I said, if you are unsure exactly what the future is for them, then my suggestion is go to Netflix, or not Netflix, but go to Amazon. And here in the US, like I said, it's between $10 to $20, where you can buy the seasons 1 to 9, $10 to $20. The cheapest are like the earlier ones, and as you get a little later on, they get a little bit more higher in price. But mainly between seasons 1 and 9, it's between $10 to $20. So depending on what the price is over where you are in the world, it shouldn't be too much. It shouldn't be too much to afford, especially if you do it like maybe 2 seasons at a time, 2 seasons a week, or 2 seasons every 2 weeks or something like that. You should have most of the seasons before like a month is out or something like that, or at least within the next month and a half, you should have most of the series. Anyway, though, Yeah, it's one of those situations to where, yeah, MLPFIM is on there still, but it's only the first half of the series. The second half, like I said, most of the second half, I should say, that was part of that is now off. We don't know what the destination is for it next. It could be, like I said, it could be Hulu. It could be back on Netflix. But like I said, if you're unsure, probably the cheapest solutions, like I said, is Netflix. Not Netflix, but Amazon to buy them at, as well as if you do have the series physically on media, you have the series on physical media, you can watch it from there, or you can look here on YouTube or even Yay Ponies, and you should be able to find it there as well. But yeah, that's unfortunate right now, but hopefully that'll be corrected, and I think it will be. It's just, like I said, it's very similar to the last time it happened, so hopefully it will be corrected. All right, number 5. So number 5 on the list here, in this part 2 of the topics on my mind. Number 5, are AEW fans finally getting tired of Tony Khan hiring / bringing in former WWE talent? Now, the reason I bring this up as a topic is because the person I mentioned earlier in the third topic, just Alex, mentioned this on Facebook and Twitter. It seems that a lot of fans are upset at the fact that Tony Khan is bringing in Brian Kendrick, who was just recently seen on NXT, putting over some of the new talent, that being NXT 2.0. Or putting over, like I said, putting over one of the new talents, basically this monster guy talent. And basically afterwards he requested his release, and he got it. And now it seems he's going to be on AEW tonight. So within the span of just a month or so, he's going to be on NXT and AEW. He's not the first one to do that, though. We've seen that before. It's not the first, and he's definitely not going to be the last. But he was just involved in a match on NXT 2.0, and a lot of people are like, so now he's going to be on AEW. Why? We don't need him. And I think what's happening here with fans being vocal about this, and kind of maybe some people will point out hypocritical, is because they had no problem with Tony Khan bringing in any other former WWE talent, in the past, like John Moxley, aka Dean Ambrose, Chris Jericho, Kyle O'Reilly, Adam Cole, Bobby Fish, you name it. Brian Danielson, aka Daniel Bryan. Nobody's had problems with those, but now all of a sudden they have a problem. It's like now they're having a problem of, somebody coming in, and I think what's happening is now the AEW fans are starting to notice in their minds that what this company was supposed to be about is failing to do so. In their minds, they're noticing all these former WWE talents being pushed to the front and not the OG talent. And that's why they're getting upset at the fact that all they're getting here is just a WWE match in an AEW ring. And they don't want that. They want AEW. They want it to be about their talent, their homegrown talent, the men and women that wouldn't get a chance elsewhere, like WWE. They want it to be about them. And I think by them speaking out a little bit and getting upset at the fact that Brian Kendrick, just a few weeks removed from his appearance on NXT, and the angle he did there, showing up here in AEW to wrestle John Moxley tonight, maybe even as we speak, because it's about 5:56 in the evening. It's it is kind of surprising, and some would say hypocritical, because it's like you're happy about this guy coming or this girl coming, but now you're upset, and it just and to them it just doesn't make any sense as to why you're upset about this person coming in, but you weren't upset before. It's like it just doesn't make sense, and it feels hypocritical. But again, to me, I think what's really happening in all that is basically what's happening is, like I said, the AEW faithful are opening their eyes, if you will, and realizing in their opinions, from their point of view, that their company is not the company anymore. That it's basically now going into the hands of the former talent of WWE, and they're getting, and they're tired of it. They're just sick of it. So my opinion is, so in my opinion, I think that's what's happening. I think that's why they're reacting the way they are. It's not the fact that they don't want. Hold on, one second here. To me, it's not the fact that they don't want these guys and gals there. They want to focus on the AEW OGs. That's what they want. They look at the fact that we're probably going to get, Undisputed Era under a different name there, and they'll be cool with that. But over time, in the eyes of those that are noticing this, they're going to be like, so you're cool with them being a different name group, but you're going to get tired of them because it's just the Undisputed Era under a different name or something like that. So to me, it's just one of those situations to where it's like, you wanted it, now you got to deal with it. It's like, you wanted these people here, now you got to deal with it. And I think that's what's really, get crawling under the skin of these fans, of these AEW faithful. It's like, this is their company, and yeah, they wanted some of these talents, but they didn't want them to take over. That's what I'm noticing. So, yeah, it seems that they're not happy with this latest hiring or bringing in of talent when it comes to Brian Kendrick. But maybe it's a one-time deal. Maybe he's going to be brought in as a trainer too. Who knows? But yeah, they're not too thrilled about it. So, and again, this is like the first time I think anybody's seen the AEW fans react this way to any talent wanting to be part of the company, or at least compete there. So yeah, it's a first, and it's probably not going to be the last. But what do you guys think about that? Let me know in the comments in the live chat down below, in the comments below in the live chat during this broadcast. All right, so going on to the next talent here. Well, not talent, but the next topic. Going on to the next topic here, and I do apologize if the phone rings, guys. It's about 5:50. It's about 6 o'clock. My mom will probably be calling in a little bit, unless she went to do coffee. Let me check that for a second, guys, because I heard some vibrations going off on the phone here. Let me check this for a second. Because like I said, she had a training today, so let me check. Yeah, she should be on her way. She was just reminding me she was off at 5. But knowing her, she takes her time to get on the freeway, because she might, go stop at the Starbucks there in Livermore, or traffic might be a little heavy or something. But it's also very windy, so especially going on the Altamont, it's kind of a lot windy there. So hopefully it's died down a bit. Anyway, getting back on topic here, the next topic we're going to talk about in this part 2, which again I'll be putting them together in a playlist so you guys can check those out. But the next thing we're going to talk about here at number 6 is the BiISHOUJO, Princess Celestia statue, delayed to summer of this year, 2022, and crossover coming between G5 and G4. Now, the reason I bring this up is because it was announced that the BiISHOUJO, or the Kachabuchas, basically these here, that the Princess Celestia one has been delayed. Now, I don't know if the Luna one has already come out or not. If it has, I do have to get my hands on that. But yeah, the Celestia version of these statues here has been delayed to the summer of 2022. I think maybe because there was too much demand, and also I think because of this whole Omicron deal and everything, that it's got people up in arms and stuff and worried about, what's going to happen next. I think that's causing a lot of delays, not just that on the Celestia statue, but a lot of things. But yeah, if you were looking forward to getting the Celestia statue this month or next month, you're going to have to wait now to the summer to do so. And that's unfortunate. But I do still plan to get it, because, getting that statue along with the Luna one to put there be excellent. Be really excellent. I mean, for me, I have Applejack, Twilight, and Sunset. Applejack is going to be getting a new variant of her statue, where she'll be colored she'll be given the skin tone of yellow, or your orangey yellow, just like her pony persona. She'll be given that in that special edition, just like Twilight. That's a Twilight special edition. That's based off the Equestria Girls coloring, and the same with Sunset, if you will. Although Sunset is the original, but yeah, Celestia. So yeah, but yeah, Applejack's going to get a new variant as well, just like Fluttershy did. She's going to have like the see-through mane and stuff with a little bit of crystalline in there, like Twilight and Fluttershy. So that's going to be cool to kind of have in your kind of have in the collection. But yeah, Applejack's getting a new variant, but the Celestia one, for anybody that was looking forward to that, has been delayed into the summer of this year. Now, speaking of MLP, though, like I said, the other part of this topic is crossover coming between G5 and G4. Well, apparently it seems that they are hinting at something. I don't know if it'll be in book form or animation form, but they are hinting at something, because apparently one of the specials for G5 is coming out this spring, and it looks like it's going to involve the return of King Sombra. That's right, King Sombra is apparently being promoted to come back, and it looks like Sunny Star Scout is going to have to call upon her alicorn form, which may be like some people are comparing it to like, a power she can call upon. Like she's not fully yellow, then she's not fully alicorn, like let's say Twilight became, but because she has the rainbow coloring, a little bit of rainbow coloring in her hair, that's like, her way of calling upon the power. So it looks like she's going to be fighting alongside her friends and and a few other allies against Sombra. I don't know how he's going to return. Maybe when they release a trailer for the special, we'll find out, kind of get a clue. But it's not just that either. There's a Generations toy or packet that they've released with a Twilight figure here and a Sunny Star Scout figure here. And to me, and you can find all of this over at Equestria Daily, but to me, when you're pairing up the G4 main protagonist and the G5 main protagonist in a toy packaging, and you're labeling it Generations, to me, that's hints at a possible crossover. When and where, I don't know. When and where, like I was trying to say, I don't know. But it would be really interesting to see what occurs, what comes out of that in the future, because I wouldn't mind, honestly, a crossover between, Friendship is Magic and New Generation. I mean, that way you could pretty much in that crossover have Friendship is Magic pass the torch, maybe not literally, but figuratively, over to the New Generation staple, of characters. So we'll see what they do. I mean, if we're getting King Sombra's return probably in the spring special, who's to say we won't get a crossover between Friendship is Magic G4 and New Generation G5? Because like I said, if you want to pass the torch on to the next generation, visually have it passed to them, figuratively, I guess, but visually and figuratively by the previous generation. And I know a lot of people would be thrilled with that. I mean, the fact that you could have certain characters interacting with each other and seeing the similarities that they have with each other. I mean, think about it. Hitch interacting with Fluttershy, and then Fluttershy noticing that he has animals coming around him just like her. You could probably drop a hint that maybe there's some kind of, descendant ancestral connection. Same with Rainbow Dash and Zip. Same with maybe Pip and Rarity. That might be something. But yeah, it'll be really interesting to see what they do in the near future when it comes to that. Because again, why would you put out a toy pack of figures with the main protagonist of the previous generation along with the new main protagonist of the new generation? It just, to me, it doesn't make sense unless it doesn't, add up, doesn't make sense unless you're planning to do a crossover. And it looks like that's what they wanted. That's what it looks like, excuse me, that they want to do in the near future, probably before this year's out. Because again, if we're getting King Sombra's return in the spring special, which some people are speculating is the possibility, who's to say we won't get this crossover? Because if you, like I said, if you're putting you're putting out a collector's pack of the two main protagonists of the past, of the recent generation and the new generation, that's got to be hinting at something. But we'll see what they do. But it definitely looks like they want to do a crossover. I mean, they're doing a crossover between Gen 4 and Gen 1 in the special IDW MLP Generations comic miniseries. So who's to say they might not, Boulder Media and all of them may not want to do that here with Gen 4 and Gen 5, in animation mode. I'm just saying, whoever's doing the animation, who's to say they wouldn't want to do it here? But let me know what your thoughts on that, about that in the live chat, as well as in the comments down below. And again, guys, super chats and super stickers are open in the live chat. If you could help donate there, it'd be really appreciative. But yeah, let me know what your thoughts are on that. All right. Number 7. Number 7, guys. We have, should Disney stop making live-action remakes of their classic animated films? I bring this up because recently Peter Dinklage came out and basically shot on Disney remaking Snow White, the first animated classic, into a live-action film. He said his piece, and basically he's basically come out and said he doesn't like the representation of dwarfs, in Snow White, or how they plant the rumor to be represented in the movie. Nor does he it's kind of back and forth. It's like he's okay with them putting a Latina in that Rachel girl that was the lead in the recent West Side Story remake, as the lead and as the lead character Snow White. He's like, he's cool with that, but it's like it's the dwarf situation that he's not really happy about. So he, like I said, he recently spoke out and shot on Disney when it comes to this, gave his opinions, back and forth, the pros and the cons. You can look it up on Google, look it up on the internet, just Google it. You'll see what I mean. And Disney did respond. They said they're going to basically work with the dwarfism community, if you will, to see what they could do to make this a very progressive, very non-offensive remake. So we'll see what they do there. But it did bring up a question that a lot of people have been wondering about. I mean, I was listening and watching Animat's recent Crazy Cartoon podcast, and he was talking about this. And you could tell that he, along with a lot of people, are not fans of most of the live-action remakes of animated classics, of animated Disney classics, even of the recent ones in the past 20 years, past 20, 30 years. He's not particularly a fan of it because he feels like, you're doing too much, or you're changing, too much of it to be this way and that. And even though he can understand that sometimes you need to add things on, or you need to change things because of, the difference between now and then, that's fine, but you need to make the story, make sense. You need to simplify the story to make it make sense, or at least stay true to the original, the original version. Got a little gnat there, but the little original version that you're remaking. And again, this brings up the question: should Disney stop remaking the animated classics into live-action movies? And I look at it this way: people had no problem with Beauty and the Beast. They thought, man, that's okay, passable. They have no problem with Cinderella. Thought that was okay, passable. But I think when it came to The Lion King and Aladdin, I think Aladdin was the last big one they thought was okay. Thought was not just okay, passable, but was okay to the point like we could do a sequel to this, which I think they're planning to do. But it was like Lion King, which they're going to do a sequel of, and whatever, I can't think of the other one. But I know Lion King was like one of the worst decisions they did in the eyes of many people. And Aladdin, like I said, was more than passable in the eyes of a few people. But mainly what it is that the live action remakes have kind of mixed reactions, if you will, kind of up and down. So a lot of people have been, kind of like, going back and forth of whether or not Disney should, in their opinion, continue doing this. And to me, to answer the question of the topic, do I think they should stop doing live action remakes of animated classics? No, I don't. I think, however, what they should do is they should basically do what they did with Lady and the Tramp. When they did the live action remake on that, they should put these, I should say, exclusively on Disney Plus. That's just my opinion. It doesn't matter if you're hiring in, you're signing on and hiring, great play the roles of these iconic characters. I think the best place for these remakes, to be showcased is Disney Plus. You want to put them in the theater maybe for a weekend or so, that's fine. But the main destination should be Disney Plus, because that way, not only are you promoting that the only way people can watch the remakes is Disney Plus, but you're also basically selling people on the idea that, hey, look how good this movie is. Look how much effort went into it, but you can only see it on Disney Plus, so give us a try. You're basically selling people on the fact that Disney Plus has this kind of material, this kind of movies and shows to offer and more. All they have to do is sign up for it. And to me, that is the best destination for these live action remakes. Not the theaters, but Disney Plus. I mean, if Disney feels like, hey, a lot of the Pixar movies as of late are Disney Plus movies, then what's the problem of saying, hey, let's take our live action remakes of our animated classics and make them Disney Plus bound as well? Because you know why? Because hold on, let me try to think of what I was going to say. Let me go around. Okay, there we go. What I was trying to say is, if Disney thinks Disney putting Pixar movies on Disney Plus, us is not a big deal, then why not do it with the live action remakes? If you're selling people on getting Disney Plus to watch these, be as the only place they can watch these Disney Pixar films, then you could do the same with the live action remakes. That's what I was trying to get at. Almost had a brain fart there, but that's what I was trying to get at. But yeah, if you could sell people on doing these live action, on saying that Disney Plus is the only place you can watch all these new Disney Pixar films, they're the only exclusive place you can watch them, then why can't you do it with the live action remakes? You could put all the effort you want into them and all that, but in the end you could say, you want to see how good this is, the end result, order Disney Plus, and you'll get to see this and more just like it. And to me, that's a smart business decision. That's a smart business decision. And in the long run, you do not risk losing anything at the box office. You do not risk any criticism from critics or fans. You do not risk Rotten Tomatoes giving you a downgrade or anything like that, because you have it on Disney Plus. And people could watch it at any time on Disney Plus as much as they want. So you don't have to worry about that. So to me, should Disney stop doing the live action remakes? No. They shouldn't stop doing the live action remakes because the animated classics. However, I think going and putting them on Disney Plus exclusively would be a better option than the theaters. It would be. I mean, yes, it would be nice to see the movie on the big screen, but if you're going to probably get a reaction that's not positive, why risk that? And instead of risking it, just put the movie on Disney Plus and basically advertise it as, hey, this is the only place you can see this kind of stuff. And that way, not only are you selling people on the fact that this is a new movie, you put a lot of effort into it, but now you're also selling it to them on the fact that they can only watch on Disney Plus, and to watch it, they have to get the service. That's all you have to do. It's a win-win in the end when you really think about it. It's a win-win. But to me, I don't think they should stop doing live action remakes of the classics. I really don't. I think they should just continue doing them, but make their destination be on Disney Plus, and that's it. That's all I'm going to say on it. The destination should be Disney Plus, not theaters. But if you want them in theaters, doing a weekend premiere, that's fine. Then put them on. Then just put them on to Disney Plus, maybe that same week or a week later. And there you go. End of discussion. End of discussion, if you will. But what do you guys think? Do you think Disney should stop doing live action remakes of their animated classics, or do you think maybe they should keep going and, like I suggested, put them on Disney Plus instead of in theaters? And if they want, and if they're insistent on theaters, just do it for the one weekend, the opening weekend, and then just put it on to Disney Plus afterwards. What are your thoughts? Let me know in the live chat and in the comments below. Do you think Disney should stop doing live action remakes of their animated classics, or do you think they should keep doing them but put them on Disney Plus, maybe with a limited one weekend only release in theaters to help hype it up and all that? What are your thoughts? Again, let me know in the live chat and in the comments below. All right, so on to the final topic, the eighth and final topic. And again, guys, I do apologize for this being a second part. I don't know what happened the first time. Something occurred. I'm guessing, my opinion is it was finishing a virus scan or it was finishing the updates. It was doing something because we are a week away or less than a week away from another monthly update. So I don't know if it was getting ready for that. But I do apologize for that. But I do thank you guys for joining me in for the second half here, the second part, unexpectedly. Thank you very much. Appreciate that. And super chats, super stickers are open and encouraged. Whatever you can donate, I'd be really appreciative. All right, so the eighth and final topic here is this. Is the NFL becoming more predictable than the MLB, NBA, NHL, and the MLS? In other words, is the NFL becoming the WWE of pro football / sports? And the reason I bring that up is because it seems lately over the past several years, the NFL, unlike any other sports league out there, although some of them have been guilty of this as well, but mostly the NFL is probably the most guilty, period. Because it seems like lately they've become too predictable as to who they are going to be pushing towards the Super Bowl. In other words, they're putting so much spotlight on individuals throughout the season and teams that they're a part of. It's almost like they're telling you, these are the teams. These are the ones we're choosing. And in the end, that's what ends up happening. And to me, that's making the NFL too predictable. But also at the same time, it's making them like the WWE. The reason I say that, as ridiculous as this may sound to a lot of people, it's because mainly it seems that even though the games are hard-hitting and legit, through and through, it's almost like they're going by a script. It's almost like the injuries are real. Sometimes the fighting between players on different teams may be real, or is indeed real at times, but it's almost like there's something there that makes you feel like, they're going by a script. Like, let's take a look at some of the teams that, have led in a big way through the playoffs and sometimes throughout the regular seasons. You think the team they're going to beat, especially the team that's been put into a position of that's the team that's going to headline the big game along with the other team, you would think they would be able to win the game against that team, but then in the end, they end up beating that team because that team falls apart unexpectedly in the second half. Why? What happened to the momentum they had throughout the entire game, throughout all three quarters? What happened? I'll tell you what happened. The script happened. And I know that sounds ridiculous, but the predictability, the script happened. The coach takes them in there, talks them over about what they got to do in the second half, but then also probably tells them, okay, this is where we fall apart. Everything like, go out there, do your hardest. Let's try to win this game. But maybe when they go to the sideline, he takes the players into that huddle and says, okay, guys, it's time to give it to them because that's what they want. And, that's what they want for the Super Bowl. And there you go. Again, I know that sounds a little too predictable, or not predictable, but too ridiculous. But when you really think about it, you get down to it, it makes all the sense in the world. It really does. Because there shouldn't have been no reason that the Chiefs should have lost the game to the Bengals the way they did on Sunday. There's no reason the 49ers should have lost the game to the Rams on Sunday. There's no reason, right? Falling apart the way they did, that was like, where did this happen? How'd this happen? It's all about the fact that the NFL is becoming too predictable in what they do and who they're projecting as the top teams, the top players they want to focus on and get to the big game. But also in a sense, they're becoming too predictable because they're becoming like the WWE of pro football and sports. They're becoming sports entertainment. In other words, they're basically going by a script that although the players on, probably on the team that's going to lose are like, that is so dumb. We worked our butts off here and now we got to give it to this team because that's what Roger Goodell and the NFL wants. What are you going to do? It's like, what are you going to do? It's like, it's no wonder sometimes players get frustrated, and sometimes have mental breakdowns or just want to retire out of nowhere. Not because of the fact of like Antonio Brown, I don't know what happened there with him, but any other player that just decides to step away, you wonder to yourself, why did they retire? Why did they step away? And it's just, one of those situations to where, you feel like something is up. Feel like something is not right. And then to further basically emphasize this, Vice decided to do a Dark Side of the Ring style documentary series on football, on the NFL, basically, just like they did with wrestling, pro wrestling. And when you have them doing something like that, that does bring into question that something's up that we don't know about. It's like they're hiding something. Because in the past, the NFL felt more, I'll put it this way, the NFL in the past felt more legit, felt more real, and the teams that went to the playoffs, went to the big game in the end, felt, them getting to that position felt more earned, felt more real, if you will. In other words, there was no shenanigans whatsoever. But lately, it seems like, again, the NFL is becoming too predictable to the point that they're becoming like the WWE. They're becoming like the sports entertainment of pro football / sports, to the point that it seems that anytime a team gets in a huddle with the coach or goes to the locker room, that coach is telling them basically, or giving them the idea, or giving them pretty much, a pep talk of, how to play in the second half, but also in a way, giving them the idea of, okay, we've been told we're going to get this game. We're winning this game. Let's go out there and, make it believable, as believable as can be, as real as it can be. And then on the opposite side, you have the coach of the other team saying, yeah, I know we're leading. It looks like we're on our way to the Super Bowl, but guess what? We still have another half to play and everything. And, we got to do our best, win or lose. And when some coach says win or lose, like put the win or lose thing there, that sometimes might be code for, okay, it's time to go give it to that other team. And that's why it seems like the NFL is becoming too predictable in the long run. They're becoming too predictable in who they position on top. And it feels like they're going by a script. It feels like they are becoming too scripted in how the games are done. Because in the end, not in the end, but in the past, they felt more legit. Like I said, the teams that got to the playoffs, them getting there felt more real, felt like they truly earned it. Same with the last two teams that got to the Super Bowl. It felt like they truly earned it. And there was no teams that fell apart throughout, throughout the games. When they took the lead in the first half, those teams usually kept that lead going into the second half. They never fell apart. But yet here we see that. yet we see that, and it feels like something is off. Something feels very suspicious and predictable, and I feel it's something that needs to be addressed. It needs to be fixed. It needs to be addressed. And I think any fan out there that might say I'm speaking ludicrously, I'm speaking crazy talk and all that, ask yourself this. If you're a Kansas City fan, why did the Chiefs fall apart the way they did? There was no reason for that, right? If you're a 49er fan like I am, why did they fall apart the way they did? No reasoning, right? Right? If you're a Cowboys fan, speaking of the Niners, why did they fall apart the way they did? There's no reasoning. Why did Tennessee fall apart the way they did against Cincinnati? No reasoning. No reasoning whatsoever. But the reason they fell apart is because it was all scripted, all predictable. They were told, and the sports media is never going to address this and say it, they were told this is what's going to happen. Make it look legit and as real as you can be. Well, make it look as legit and real as possible, tacos and everything. But in the end, this team wins, you go home. Come on, seriously, tell me. How is that not predictable? How is that not saying that something has changed in the NFL to where it's like, seriously, this don't make sense? I mean, it even feels like the referees are in on it. The way they would penalize a team that has a lead and help the other team win. It feels like they're in on it too. So you can't tell me that the NFL, in a sense, has become partially a scripted sport. Yes, the games are legit. There's no doubt, especially, look, let me correct myself. Let me correct myself and say this. Yes, the games are real. The tackling and the injuries, like I said, are real. Especially in the games, to an extent in the regular season, are legit to an extent. But when it gets into the playoffs, that's when things start to change. They start to not add up, if you catch my drift. They start to not add up. It's like something is different. And it feels way too predictable, for something to happen. For something not to go the way, the NFL wants and not what the fans want, if you catch my drift. But that's just my opinion. I feel, in a way, they're becoming too predictable, and they're becoming like the WWE of pro football and sports, where they become partially more scripted than real and unscripted. Because, again, in the past, teams that got to the playoffs, got to the Super Bowl, that felt real. That felt more earned. And neither teams, even the teams that lost, never dropped down and went kablooey. They never imploded. But here, it's been happening lately, not just this playoff season, but in previous playoff seasons in the past. So to me, honestly, it's become too predictable. It's becoming too much like the WWE of pro football and sports. That's becoming too scripted. Well, at least partially scripted, to a point that, what's the point of having playoff games if these are the two teams and the players, the top stars, quarterbacks, if you will, of those teams you want to focus on the most? What's the point? There is no point. There is no point. So hopefully Roger Goodell and people in the NFL address this. Hopefully players that don't like this direction that they're going in address this. Hopefully fans speak out and address this. Because you know why? The sooner it's addressed, the sooner it's fixed. Because again, in the past, the teams that got to the playoffs felt earned. Them getting there, it felt more real and felt more earned. Felt legit. The same with the teams that went to the Super Bowl. They felt more legit and more earned. So that's just my opinion. I know it sounds like I'm speaking out of my butt when it comes to that, but come on, seriously. Even the Schleg Daddy would admit to that. Even, as the old saying goes, even Stevie Wonder, all respect to the guy, could see that from 100 miles away. But what are your thoughts? let me know in the live chat and in the comments below. And that, my friends, just make sure I didn't miss anything. Nope, I don't think I did. And so that, my friends, should do it. I would like to thank you all for joining me for this Topics on My Mind live stream. Sorry for the fact that we had an abrupt ending in the original broadcast, which is now going to be dubbed Part 1. And I thank you guys for joining me or rejoining me here in Part 2. Really appreciate the support and the love. But yeah, I'm sorry for that little issue. I don't know what happened. Again, my thought is my computer probably was doing a live stream or something. Well, not live stream, but probably doing a virus scan or trying to, get itself ready for next Tuesday's updates. Or maybe it felt like that, something crashed. Because here's the thing, the timer right here, where I'm pointing, well, it shows that I'm pointing down. But the timer right here was still moving. And I don't know. I'll show you what the. Let me show you something. Hold on. But the timer, I don't know if you could see this. Oh, there we go. The timer right here was still moving. It was still moving, but yet the picture was frozen. So I don't know if my camera crashed or something. It's working now. I don't know if it crashed or YouTube went down for a second. I don't know. I don't think it was them because, like I said, the timer was still moving. So my thought is my computer was probably doing a load update or doing something that interfered with it, and it was saying, "Wait! Sorry to interrupt you here on your live stream, but I got to do this update here, or get this ready for an update." Or it was doing a virus scan. I don't know, but I do apologize for that. But anyway, though, thank you guys for rejoining me here in the second part, as well as joining me in the first part. Really appreciated that. And until next time, guys, let me know what your thoughts are down below in the comment section of both videos. Again, they will be put together in a playlist. And then eventually down the line, maybe this weekend or so, when pretty much they're finished processing, because it takes about 12 hours for live streams to process, apparently, on YouTube. After they're done processing, I will download them and piece them together, courtesy of Cyber Power Director, into one video, and I will upload that later down the line, as well as download it so that you can get a whole audio version on BW Rose's discussions, which I am at 300 podcast episodes as we speak. So thank you guys for supporting me there as well. But anyway, though, guys, that's gonna do it for now. Again, this will be in a playlist for the time being, with the topics in the description box for that playlist. Let me know what your thoughts are down below. Again, like I said, comment if you like the stream. Also, check me out at BW Rose's discussions on all your favorite audio platforms for the podcast, like Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, especially those that give you both versions or an option of both podcasts, either it's video or audio. You can check me out there, as well as on Anchor.fm, which also grants you listener support if you want to help me out there. Also, check me out at VENMO at BW Roses for content you can't get here on YouTube because of copyright. Also, check me out at patreon.com/BW Roses to support me at the $1 or $3 tier. Would really help me out there if you can, as well as I am considering a $5 tier in the future for Q&As. Don't quote me on that just yet. I haven't decided fully yet if I'm going to do that. As well as check me out at Venmo at Brian-Walmer-2. That would really help me out as well. But anyway, though, guys, thank you all for joining me here in this second part, unexpectedly, for this two-part Topics on My Mind live stream. Really appreciate your support and everything. And until next time, guys, I will talk to you all later. You all have a good night.